This is Bob Neal. Welcome to Orlando. Indeed, the Atlanta Hawks are still standing, but they may find it more difficult to keep their balance in this building, the Arena, than in the Omni in Atlanta. This is the place where the Orlando Magic went undefeated for most of the year. They are undefeated 4-0 in the playoffs. The defending Eastern Conference champion Orlando Magic leading in this Eastern Conference semifinal round 3-1. Orlando, though, had some disturbing news today. Actually, it happened at halftime of game number 4 in Atlanta. Shaquille O'Neal came in at halftime, told his coach he was feeling some heart flutters and not feeling well. They had the team doctor check him in Atlanta. He came out and played in the second half of play, but did not feel well. Yesterday, Shaquille O'Neal went to a cardiologist here in Orlando, received a clean bill of health from that checkup, and is playing tonight. And Hubie, no question, that had an effect on his concentration, as it would anybody, and a subpar performance.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. And you also have to give a lot of credit to the Atlanta defense. They moved him off his favorite spots and then harassed them with the double teaming from the 3 different areas. You can see he had the 19 points, but he missed 12 foul shots and only 1 offensive rebound. Now, that's a key because he was averaging 6 a game in the 3 previous ball games. Now, also, the compound things, Scott and Anderson struggled. You can see right there, they were 5 for 21 from the field, and then definitely the 3 points were not there. For the team themselves, 5 for 21 from threes, only 24%, but the shots were there.
As Lenny Wilkins told you and I before the game 4, we're going to come out and roll the dice. We've got nothing to lose. We're down 3-0. They rolled the dice and won. 44 first quarter points, and they held on to win the game.
Yeah, well, the transition was there and a 3-point shooting, but the main guy was Steve Smith. He came in with 35 points. The key to 31 attempts because he makes things happen. 7 for 14 in threes, terrific. And then he added 6 rebounds. Now, also, you had Leitner and Rooks. They neutralized Shaq, 22 points, 6 rebounds. Then you look at their 3-point game, 12 for 23. They shot 52%. Tonight, they've got to get out in the open floor. Rooks and Leitner kick it out, get them in their flow. The 3-point shots will be there.
Let's see if the confidence carries over from the Omni to the Arena. We'll know in just a moment. Stay with us. We'll continue from Orlando, Florida.
Back in Orlando, I'm Kevin Kiley along with Bob Neal and Hubie Brown. We're just moments away from tip-off. Before Game 4 in Atlanta, the Orlando Magic were pretty loose, maybe a little bit too loose. Tonight, very much more business-like. They know Chicago has advanced. They want to get this over with the Atlanta Hawks. And to do that, they know they're going to have to stop the Atlanta backcourt. That's Mookie and Steve Smith.
If I play well, we win. If Mookie Blaylock plays well and we play well together, we usually win. So it's a little pressure on us to come out and try to carry this team and from a guard situation and play with a lot of up-tempo and keep the ball moving. I think they're going to definitely step up their defense and try to contain our 3-point shooters. And that's the advantage for us. If we can spot up and have guys running at us, then we can get to the basket and drive.
The way they're playing, Shaq and Penny, double-teaming them in the post, getting a lot of open shots. I think it has to deal with, always goes back to me playing with a lot of confidence. And last year, it was my first year with this team, and I was just getting used to playing with the guys. And, you know, we got a year under our belts together, and, you know, I guess you can say the rest is history.
I think we always knew we can beat Orlando. We've proven that. I think we came in here to win the series. We know they're a great team, but we have a good chance. And just say if we'd had one game, we'd have won down here in Orlando, it'd be 2-2 right now in a different situation. But if we can win this one tonight and take it back to Atlanta, where we know we have a lot of confidence playing there, anything can happen.
I spoke with Mookie Blaylock this morning, and he said the big guy, Shaquille O'Neal, will be going to the foul line tonight. I just spoke with Craig Elo a minute ago. He said the game plan is foul him and fire it up. We'll be back with the starting lineups in just a moment.
With Kevin Kiley and Hubie Brown, Bob Neal back at the Arena. The Magic leading in this series 3-1, surprised by Atlanta in the Omni on Monday night. And here's a look at the starting matchups for tonight's ball game. They're the same as they've been for the entire series.
Now, Augman and Scott, that is a key matchup. Augman very instrumental in that explosion in the first quarter, breaking the defense down.
Tonight's officials are Hugh Hollins, Mike Mathis, and Bob Delaney. Once again, to repeat in case you've joined us a little late, we found out today that Shaquille O'Neal went in at halftime of the game in Atlanta on Monday night complaining of a fluttering heart. He said it was beating fast and felt funny. The team doctor for Orlando checked Shaquille out at halftime Monday night. They both decided it was okay for him to play. It obviously disturbed and caused a distraction for Shaquille O'Neal. He did not play well in that game. As you know, he missed 4 free throws in a row in crucial moments down the final stretch and missed 12 all night long. However, he saw a cardiologist today and yesterday here in Orlando and has been given a clean bill of health to play basketball. And of course, it's his ultimate decision. And at this point in time, he doesn't, and the Magic don't want anyone to read anything more into that. He had the fluttering, felt bad in the game, went ahead and played, and is coming out here tonight to see how it goes. The Atlanta Hawks came out, Hubie, running and gunning and dropping the threes, going to the offensive boards, causing the turnovers. The question is, can they do that with that same confidence in this building?
Well, the major thing is, Bob, you have to turn them over and also get them to miss their shots, which creates transition. You can see the points, the 44, and then from the field, they're absolutely devastating. And the three-point shooting, because that's when the Hawks are at their best. When they're running in 4-on-3, 3-on-2, they have excellent guys to spot up, meaning Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock. Both of them are shooting the three with a high percentage rate.
Orlando also had an injury problem with Nick Anderson banging his arm when he took a charge, injuring the ulnar nerve, the funny bone. I talked to him just a couple of minutes ago, and Nick Anderson said he felt fine. His arm was not bothering him. It was simply a matter of bumping it on the floor, and it took a while for the feeling to come back in there. So that's pretty much the story health-wise for these teams. John Koncak still playing as the backup center with a sore Achilles, but otherwise, except for the usual bang-ups for the playoffs at this stage in the season, these are two healthy basketball teams. Leitner and Shaquille will jump it. Mike Mathis will toss it from the arena in Orlando. Game 5. Grant Long comes away with it to Steve Smith and Mookie Blaylock running the show. Down to Leitner.
Right at him now. Nice cut.
Give and go to Steve Smith. Easy lay-in.
Well, if you run without the ball, Christian Leitner will find you. He's an excellent passer for a center.
Penny Hardaway, we were talking about his sore hamstrings until he exploded to the hoop about 5 times. Horace Grant, who's been knocking that shot down with regularity, misses here. And Atlanta up 2-0, back for a chance to hit the first 2 shots of this game.
Well, Orlando going to pay attention here. For the last 2 days, all they've been working on is transition defense.
Steve Smith rims that 3 out of there. Bad pass. Anderson can't get to it. It'll be Atlanta ball leading 2-0. There's a turnover. Mookie Blaylock averaging 17.5 points a game. Steve Smith 22.3. They've got to meet those averages or better for the Hawks to have a chance to win.
Nice pass.
Long. It looked like he lost control of his body and the ball, but nevertheless scored. The Hawks lead at 4-0.
That was a great shot, okay? Because he was definitely bumped in the lower part there, and he lost control of the ball. Beautiful screen and roll. Both teams trapping the pick and roll.
Shaquille getting the ball again out high, but going for his own rebound and jamming it down. That's a bad sign.
Well, he did say that on Wednesday night that he would be dunking from the opening tap.
If you're Atlanta, you don't like to see that. And Stacey Augmon, not well known for his perimeter shots as it is, misses. It's 4-2 Atlanta, 10:21 to go, first period from the arena. Back on the other side to Shaquille O'Neal. Leitner trying to keep him away from the post. Another 2 jams in a row, true to his word, following the game. He said, I'll be back. I never had 2 bad games back-to-back, and I won't again.
Amen. On that up and under, he just powers you right to the hole.
Stacey Augmon losing the dribble. Illegal defense is the call against the Orlando Magic.
Illegal defense warning Orlando.
Now this is the first dunk with Shaquille. Now this is off a second shot opportunity. Now just watch as he runs the up and under here. Now you're going to see he goes up and he splits through the double team, and once he gets in there and can get to the rim, it's automatic.
Shaquille O'Neal with 2 jams, and you saw Mookie Blaylock run on the double team coming from the top. He came from the bottom and bothered Shaquille a little bit more with that in game number 4.
Yeah, definitely, Bob, in that fourth quarter when they outscored Orlando 22-16.
Mookie Blaylock with the pick and roll from Leitner. Bad pass. Leitner handles it, though.
Well, you can see they're looking for Orlando to trap the screen roll. There it is again.
Orlando's Horace Grant runs at Leitner, but Leitner hits it, and it's 6-4 Atlanta.
That's excellent basketball because Horace Grant has a long distance to cover from the other side of the lane.
Shaquille taking the entry pass way away from the basket. He's a good 10 feet away. Backing in, illegal defense called against Atlanta now. We were talking about what Shaquille said after his 19 points, missing 12 free throws, missed a lot of shot free throws. I won't miss them, guaranteed. Here's my motto is never have 2 bads in a row, and I never have. Posting up Hardaway against Blaylock. That's been trouble. Double clutch.
Mookie got a piece of that.
Horace Grant got the offensive board and throws it down. Tied at 6.
The Orlando's averaging 15 offensive boards in this series, and this is what is just killing Atlanta, especially in this building.
Blaylock, so far, the Hawks are missing from long range. That's the shot they hit in Atlanta on Monday night. Horace Grant feeling it and hitting it. 2 baskets in a row for Horace Grant, who had 29 and 20 in the game on Monday night, and the Magic have their first lead.
Well, Long just cannot look at Grant. Grant's on fire. He's shooting over 70% in the series. You got to get up and get a hand in his face, force him to dribble a basketball.
Leitner is going to shoot over Shaquille. Not this time. Anderson. Hawks once again no offensive board. Here is Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway just blends in with what's happening, then he'll pick his spots. The other night in game 4, how about 29 points and 11 assists?
Shaquille up and under. And the foul. Stacey Augmon.
Now you're going to see. Now watch Long just stand there and stare at him. You got to get up on top of the man because he's not a dribbler. He's a catch and shoot player. If you're going to get up on him, force him to go with his left hand and prove to you that he can score over you.
Shaquille, who missed 12 free throws Monday night, misses his first here for the playoffs. Shaquille is 31 of 74, shooting 42%. We talked to Brian Hill about his free throw shooting today, Hubie.
Yeah, and he said that he's just not getting any lift. You can see he's shooting a line drive. In this series, he's getting 12 attempts a game and shooting 41% in this series.
Practiced here in the gym. Assistant trainer Tom Sterner, hour and 15 minutes last night.
Oh, it isn't like he's not putting in the time. He's been doing it all throughout the playoffs. He meets every night and works on his shot. Unfortunately, the percentage is going down.
2 seconds for Grant Long to get the shot off. Leitner with the offensive board. The double triple clutch. It's blocked. Penny Hardaway on the run. It's 3-on-3.
Look out for the 3.
Dennis Scott. Leitner fighting for the rebound, and he's fouled as Nick Anderson hits the floor. He fouled Christian Leitner.
The key to the game is can Atlanta hold Orlando to 1 shot? If they can get the ball out. Now, this is just a jump hook, and look at the big fella. The big fella is out here tonight, and he's thundering, Bob. He's changing ends quick. He's leading. He's right behind the initial 2-man break. He's right behind and following and looking for the post-ups.
Orlando with a 3-rebound edge at this point and the 2-point lead. Hugh Hollins with the whistle away from the ball.
Yeah, they catch Dennis Scott holding on to Steve Smith as he was coming around the screen.
First foul on 3D. Just opened his restaurant in downtown Orlando last night. Called 3Ds. Told me he had just cranberry juice. Anthony Hardaway with Stacey Augmon on him. Beats him off the dribble.
You can't gamble on him. I mean, you save that for the summer in the playground, where guys aren't in shape. And also, you're not matched up with a player of his caliber. I mean, you can't let him go by you and then try for the steal from the rear.
Atlanta has a 6-2 lead. It's a 10-2 run for Orlando, and they lead 10-6. And the shots aren't falling. for the Atlanta Hawks. Down 3-1 in this series. Orlando hoping to close them out. Atlanta only 3 of 11 from the floor in this first period.
And they're getting excellent looks at the basket.
That foul on Christian Laettner, checking with his hand down on the low post. His first personal foul. 6:31 to go in the first quarter. Orlando on a 10-1 run.
We'd like to show you the Atlanta screen and roll and the problem that it will cause when Orlando tries to trap. Now here you have the screen and the player will come over the top, Mookie Blaylock. They'll follow and they will trap right here. But keep an eye on Horace Grant. As Laettner rolls to the corner for the spot up, just watch Grant come and try to block this shot. So for Laettner, it is a catch and shoot situation. And how about the effort by Horace Grant in your face?
As you said, too far to go.
It is.
Shooting 3 of 11 for Atlanta, 5 of 9 for Orlando. That's 56% for the Magic, 27 for Atlanta. Rebounds, Orlando 9, Atlanta 4.
Well, that's been the big difference in the series. Orlando dominating the rebounding by 10 per game. And when you go back to during the year when they split 2-2, Atlanta dominated the rebounding.
High screen and roll with Penny and Shaq. Popping out Horace Grant.
I like that when they run that because Shaq usually will catch it in the paint.
He got pretty good position there. It's going to rattle home for him. Shaquille O'Neal has 6 points. He's only missed 1 shot early. 12-6 Orlando.
Well, the big fella shooting 61% in this series. Plus, he's been catching quite a few shots with that. It's like a magnet to rim.
Steve Smith posted up, but Nick Anderson, one of the tough defenders in the league, on him. Steve Smith scores anyway, and Steve Smith, who had 35 points and 31 shots in game number 4 in Atlanta, will need to somewhere come close to that tonight if the Atlanta Hawks are going to even stay close in this series. The lob awry and out of bounds, intended for Hardaway. 12-8 Orlando. Hawks a chance to cut it to 2.
When Steve Smith posts up, he's at 6'8", Nick Anderson 6'6", playing him, a good defender. Steve Smith has a nice game with his back to the basket, plus he can pass out of it. I like this right now. He's forcing, he's looking to score.
Smith with the ball again against Anderson. 7 to shoot. Stolen, lazy pass, Hardaway.
He averages 2 steals a game. During the course of the NBA season, he was 6th in the league in steals.
Steve Smith pointed at himself from the chest, said, "My bad." Easy pass. Anticipated.
See, they just lay off of Augment, and they make him beat him with the dribble.
That's where Augment can score, but that's what he has to do to score.
And he should continue to take him in because he can blow right by Dennis or shoot up over the top.
Horace Grant from 16. In his rhythm, Horace Grant. 6 points. Shaquille 6. Hardaway 4.
Listen, has Horace made enough shots in this series or what? He's only shooting 70%. Well, somebody please guard him.
The pick and roll with Laettner getting to the hoop. A little timid seeing Shaquille come. Here's Anderson to Shaq. 8 points for Shaquille O'Neal.
That's what I meant. He is running hard this quarter. He's out on every break.
Orlando by 8. Blaylock struggling with his dribble. The illegal defense called against Orlando. That'll be the technical free throw. That's the second call. Bob Neal, Hubie Brown, Kevin Kiley with you. This is Game 5 Eastern semifinals. Orlando leading 3-1 and up here by a score of 18-10 after the Hawks got off to a 6-2 lead. Atlanta winning in Atlanta Monday night to send this game back here to Orlando for Game 5. The Magic, already people have them mailed in as the opponents in the next round for the Chicago Bulls. They want to get it over with and get some rest. Atlanta, as Lenny Wilkins said, you think we're going to lay down? Absolutely not.
Well, Lenny has been in this situation a lot of times. He has a lot of confidence in his club, but he knows that he has to hold them to the one shot and get out in the open floor. Right now, what's happening? Orlando is out in the open floor and converting everything in transition.
Magic by 5 as Grant Long hit that set shot. 3:51 to go, first period. Remember, Atlanta had 44 points at the end of the first period. That's 31 more than they have right now. Yesterday on Monday night. Hardaway on the drive pass long. 3-second violation, turnover by Orlando.
That was a good call. 2 players on Orlando honestly thought Penny was going to shoot the shot. So they ran right, and they had a little triangle rebounding in the lane that time.
Orlando with 3 turnovers. Atlanta only 1 so far. That led to that was the steal in the basket by Hardaway. The thread the needle pass intended for Leitner is deflected, and back come the Magic.
You can't try to thread the needle, Bob, when a guy isn't open. Now, that was a beautiful back screen by Blaylock. I mean, by Steve Smith. And Christian Leitner was open, but for a split second.
Hawks with a chance to cut it to 3 or better on this possession with 3 minutes 10 remaining in the first period from Orlando. Blaylock open for the jumper. That would have been a 2. He missed. Blaylock has yet to score.
See, I'm kind of surprised that they just don't work Augman on Scott down there, because he can take Scott off the dribble.
Scott trying to take Augman off the dribble that time, passing out. 7 to shoot. Open man, Anderson. Kennedy from the corner. That's a triple.
Well, they right in your face. Nick Anderson and Scott both attempt in this series 6 threes per game.
Timeout, Atlanta with 2:29 to go in the first, and the Magic up by 8. Well, 8 of Orlando's 21 came on fast breaks. Most of the rest came from this man. 8 points, 4 out of 5, 3 rebounds for Shaquille. Definitely an upgrade from his Monday night performance.
Yeah, where Orlando's shooting 67%, Atlanta 38 in the early going. The rebounding, Orlando 11-4, and that will always initiate the break. You're going to see Penny Hardaway shoot the passing lane when he's on his game. And I thought the other evening when he had 29 and 11, we're talking about him possibly having hamstrings, which are tender. And since then, he's only averaged 38 minutes and 25 points a game since he claimed that he had bad hamstrings.
Brian Shaw checking into the ball game. Brian Shaw is the only bench player for Orlando averaging more than 3 points a game. That's how balanced and heavy the starters are playing. John Koncak just in, and that quickly is called for a foul.
Yeah, that's a silly foul. See, because your object is you're supposed to trap the screen and roll. See, you're trying to cheat there. But remember, he is playing with sore Achilles. But the interesting thing, you know, Koncak gets minutes every night. He has not scored in the series.
2:17 to go in the first period. 21-13, Orlando. Steve Smith looking to create something off the dribble. Denied the lane. Blaylock. Smith. Oh, they're all over both of them. Late paint. Kept alive by Augman. Long will take that second. Smith kept it alive, but a foul, loose ball.
Yeah, they'll catch Smith on that. He went right up over the top when he tried to kick that ball out.
His first.
Lenny feels, meaning Lenny Wilkins, coach of Atlanta, he feels that they should be able to take advantage of this group whenever Shaq goes out. And you can see it right there. Smith hit it and then also came right across the head of Horace Grant.
Christian Leitner, 1 for 6, hit a jump shot to open things up. Shaquille rejected one right in his face and has missed his other attempts early in this ball game.
See, they got the switch right there. Now Penny Hardaway immediate cleared out. That was nice.
Missed the layup. You won't see that more than once a game from Penny Hardaway. Blaylock on the run. Hawks down quickly. Transition defense for Orlando pretty good. They're there, but the lane's open.
Oh,
tip.
There you go. See, the Hawk penetrators, meaning Smith, Blaylock, and Augman, they've got to get keyed up here now so that when you get your opportunity, you break the defense down. It's easy for you, and then good things will happen. You'll get high percentage shots.
Hardaway defended by Smith. Look at his quickness.
See, he's murdered down on that baseline, Bob. Whether he's posting up or you force him in there, he just loves that left side. Now keep an eye on this. Blaylock goes in. He misses the shot, but that's okay because Leitner's man left him to pick up the defense, and that opens Leitner up in front of the rim.
Steve Smith just picked up his second personal foul and is going to the bench. Craig Elo will come in as Penny Hardaway steps to the free throw line, missing one. Penny Hardaway shooting free throws very well at 78%, averaging 22.
Now just
24.
look at the minutes. 37 minutes, 24 points, 51%, almost 8 assists, and then he only gets 4 rebounds and 2 steals.
Up 2.3 points in this series over his playoff average of 22. And you said it best. He can give you whatever you need.
And he's picking his spots. It's really nice to watch because he very seldom forces his own game.
Augment cutting to the hoop. Bad pass. Leitner made a nice job of recovery and banks it in. It's a 5-point Orlando lead with just under a minute to go, first period.
They just play with confidence every time Shaq goes out and try to make it up and maybe grab a little lead.
Dennis Scott posting Augment. Augment and Scott have played each other pretty well on this. No whistle, no harm, no foul, I guess. And here is Elo on the break to Leitner. Blocked and fouled. Concat got it, but committed the foul with 31.3 to go in the first period.
Without Shaq in there, Horace Grant is the main offensive rebounder. Well, now you can just concentrate on Horace, and then you can get out in the open floor. Now, this is a nice pass, a good look, and then they catch Concat over the back, which he did do.
And they're going to call flagrant.
Oh, my. Oh, my.
That didn't look it to me.
No, it didn't. It didn't to me either.
Shaquille on the bench looks to be okay. We told you he was ill for at least half of the game on Monday night.
Well, we're going to give you another look at that play. Now, you're going to see the pass made. Now, Concac's coming from the rear right here, and he goes for the foul. Well, he catches him across the head. Now, who's to say whether he's going for the block or whether he's going, but it was definitely a hard foul. Concac has played in so many playoffs for 10 years in Atlanta. You have to remember, with their defensive teams, they're not going to give anybody an easy shot. Now, this is just, he's going hard. You can see it right there. I don't know about that.
Christian Leitner has to leave the game. He has a cut, I understand. We'll get our news hound Kevin Kiley on that story. Anytime a player has a scratch or a cut, of course, due to health reasons, they have to leave the game until that gets repaired. Sean Rooks is in at any rate, and 29.5 left in the first period. Atlanta down by 4 and in possession of the ball. Blaylock wanted the penetration.
Good defense that time by Orlando. They spread right out and picked up.
Grant Long sees that he's being defended by the slower Joe Wolf, and the Hawks have pulled to within 2 at the end of the first.
Wolf cannot play Long down low. Atlanta knows that, and they're looking for the switch in and just take him right down in there.
1.1 second left when that steal occurred, and the Hawks make a late first quarter comeback. Christian Leitner playing well toward the end of the quarter. 7-1 run for Atlanta in the last 2 minutes. Christian has 7 and 5 rebounds. The Exchange at historic Church Street Station in downtown Orlando, Florida. That's where they plan tonight's party after Orlando's win, unless the party is messed up by the efforts of the Atlanta Hawks. As you take a look at the difference in last night's first period and this, Kevin Kiley has told us that Christian Leitner suffered an abrasion on his elbow, a little bit of blood. That's why he had to leave the game, but is okay and will be back in the game. Meantime, Sean Rooks, Atlanta's backup, is in there to bang around on Shaquille O'Neal, who has also re-entered the game.
Now, Rooks will be tested now. They'll go right at the Shaq man. And what you have to do is move him up the line a little bit and then try that your guys get him in an area so that your guys can get to the double team quick. See, he's moving him up. He did a nice job. You got to get to him now.
There's the bad pass to Elo. It's 2-on-3, Elo and Blaylock. Rest of the Hawks now down. Good transition defense by Orlando.
I tell you, Rooks had O'Neal beaten that time. I'm surprised Elo didn't give it to him.
Anthony Bowie trying to defend Stacey Augment in the post.
Nice.
Count the basket and one. And the Hawks have tied it with an opportunity to take the lead with 11:25 to go in the second quarter.
See, when Augment gives them the offensive production, he causes guys to eventually double team him, and then that's going to open up the perimeter game. But until he scores, they're going to play him man to man.
Ogman 80% free throw shooter in the playoffs. And he gets the three-point opportunity. Atlanta leads it by 1. Shaq got the Magic off to a good start. They led by 8. Then O'Neal went out, and the Hawks came back, and now they have the lead. O'Neal back in there now.
Now you can see the Hawks just matched up, gave you a little fake trap, and then came back man-to-man.
There's the deep reception by Shaquille O'Neal and the foul for Brooks.
Yeah, that time he caught him right across the neck. See, he's a tough guy. When you get down inside here, you're going to see what right there. See, he caught him.
John Koncak saying, I got a flagrant out of that. Once again, get the ball in low, fouled hard. Inside. Well, this will send him to the line.
Lenny Wilkins says we cannot let him catch the ball that close to the basket. And in Game 4, they did a very nice job of pushing him up the lane. Or when he would get in deep, they would front him and then jam the passer. And now you can see they're going to take their fouls, and they're going to force him to make the foul shot.
Grant Long committed the foul, and you hear the rousing cheer. That one got a little lift on it, too. Since Brian Hill was talking about that, you can see that instead of taking the ball and putting the big arc on it, letting it fall through the hoop, Shaquille sometimes just throws it like a fastball at the front end of the iron, and that's what he misses so often. 24-23 Orlando. Inside, Grant Long against Wolf. The hook shot. Nick Anderson, big board. Orlando in front by a point. Hawks regain the lead on the three-point play by Stacey Ogman. There's O'Neal down low again, missing from there. Rooks with a rebound.
The difference between Rooks and Leitner. Leitner rebounds and kicks it out quick, and the Hawks, because the fast break is just a matter of 3 or 4 feet. You've got to get the ball out quickly.
Ogman gets it to Long. 8 on the shot clock. Long has that shot. He's missed 2 from there. And hit 1.
Well, in this series, he's 2 for 8 threes, but during the course of the year, he made 31, so it isn't something new for him. That's part of their arsenal.
Backdoor, Anderson has the ball delivered nicely, thank you, from Brian Shaw.
That was a beautiful cut.
Magic by 3. 9:47 to go in the half. Ogman again working on Anthony Bowie, taking it inside the paint and scoring again. Hubie, you've said it during the entire series.
You always take advantage of mismatches. Mainly, the guy doesn't have to score as long as he breaks the defense down.
There's a mismatch. Joe Wolf, normally a good perimeter shooter over Blaylock, but Joe's not been hitting those. Blaylock misses the 3.
Now that's the first 3 that we have seen launched, and we've played 3 minutes into this quarter, since we started out of transition. First one.
They ran out of threes. They shot so many Monday night. Tip in Joe Wolf.
Joe Wolf stepped right in front of Rooks. See, that can't happen. You have to claim your territory, and then you've got to rebound big.
Carrying the ball is called on Mookie Blaylock, who's also 0 for 4 tonight, yet the Hawks still trail by only 3. We have a timeout on the floor. Orlando leading it by 3. Atlanta briefly led 23-22, and Orlando has come back since then. 8:56 to go in the first period. Our playoff action continues tomorrow evening. Utah attempts to eliminate San Antonio in Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinal series. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern time tomorrow night at Salt Lake City to see the backcourt resurgence in San Antonio. Vinny Del Negro and Avery Johnson. And Hubie, you're going to be out there covering that game with Dick Stockton. Tell me what you think about those two and how they'll play it.
Yeah, well, this is major because Stockton and Hornacek usually play big at home. The big position, I think, tomorrow night is going to be Sean Elliott. Can Sean Elliott get it going? Benoit and Morris, as well as Russell off the bench, have been doing a terrific job at that small forward position. And last night, I thought Robinson and Malone, man, they were men last night. That was a very, very physical game.
They let them play.
They sure did.
And by the way, Hubie, I want to point this out. 9 Eastern time tomorrow night. Don't want you showing up an hour early. Although you show up an hour early anyway. Reggie Jordan penetrating, kicking it to Grant Long for the jump shot. Reggie Jordan, who's only playing about 6 minutes a game for the Hawks, comes in and is somewhat of an energizer for Atlanta out of the CBA, number 22.
Definitely in game 4, Bob. At the top of that quarter, in fourth quarter, he turned it over twice and really got after people. Made things happen when that unit was on the floor.
Foul number 22, Reggie Jordan.
Nick Anderson really playing, upgrading his game tonight, too. One of the things that he had a brief slump in the game on Monday night, as you pointed out in the opening, but tonight 7, 3 out of 3. Now he's going to go to the line.
Well, I think a lot had to do with the injury to the elbow, no doubt about it. In this series, he's shooting 44%, 87 on the line. He's scoring right at 17 points a game.
Missed the free throw, angry with himself. Told me right before the game, he says, I will score some points tonight. I'm feeling good. Elbow feels good. And when he says that, you know he's saying it in the context of team play, because these players share the ball if they do anything for Orlando. Missed them both, though, and the Hawks have a chance to pull it within 1 or tie here. Elo on the penetration, and Grant Long is the recipient of the penetration. Grant has 10 points.
Now Rooks was wide open on that play. Now Elo elected to go into the lane and then give for the layup. He's fortunate that it opened up.
Rooks called for the foul, trying to push Shaquille off the block. 1 point Orlando lead. 7:45 to go in the first half. That's the second personal on Rooks. Leitner is on the bench with 1 foul. Christian went out of the game on with an abrasion on the elbow. They went out to make sure it wasn't bleeding, and since then Rooks has stayed in, and here's Alan Henderson.
Yeah, they'll stay with Rooks, mainly because you really don't care if he gets 3. The main thing is that Leitner's getting a chance to rest.
Double team on Shaquille. Open man is Shaw. Steps up. Knocks down the 2 from 17.
Well, you always tell guys, when you run at guys, run at his number, run at his chest. Don't run by and fly. This isn't summer basketball. You can't give a guy a wide open shot at playoff time.
Smith is going to shoot over Nick Anderson. That would have been a 3. Look out. 5 on 4. Bowie sees the mismatch. Steve Smith fell down at the other end.
See, you hate to see guys shoot a shot, then run at it, a guy in the offense moving in transition for a backcourt steal, and they blow right by you. That was a beautiful move by Bowie, and he was fouled.
Good pass inside from Henderson. Elo can't do anything with it down there. Nice. Bowie, Anderson.
Bowie, like Donald Royal, they're like the Energizer bunnies. They come in and they get all over the place. They get deflections. They shoot the passing lanes. They get the ball out on the break. A lot of good things happen when they're on the floor.
Orlando by 7. 22nd timeout for Atlanta. 36-29, Orlando with a 7-point lead, thanks in part to this play by Anthony Bowie.
Well, you can see, you got to get in front of him. See, he just looked off the defender, Elo, takes it all away, even got hit, could have been a 3-point play. Now watch as he comes into your picture, plays the passing lane beautifully, kicks out, Anderson finishes at the other end of the floor. They're hurting him in the transition game. They're forcing the turnovers, but most of all, they're holding the Hawks to 1 shot and kicking out. Orlando 12-1, fast break points.
Again on Monday night, Atlanta got out and ran successfully in the first half of the ball game to take that 20-point halftime lead. Christian Leitner has re-entered the ball game.
In game 4, Atlanta got outmade 9 threes in the first half. All of them were coming out of transition. Very seldom did they get a good look at a 3-point shot in their half-court offense.
Extend the defense now, does Orlando.
You have to watch here now. They're in a 2-2-1 trap.
Elo's going to be left alone for a 3. Henderson, offensive board, and he's fouled.
Well, what you're trying to do with the trap is to make the steal, run some time off. But when you attack the 2-2-1, if you go into the middle or up the sides, the corner will open up. And what you're looking there for is a quick shot.
You see the difference in game 4, 3-pointers. 11 of 21 tonight, 0 for 4. The 2 backcourt players. That foul on Brian Shaw. Henderson's been playing about 15 minutes a game during the playoffs for the Atlanta Hawks.
Well, he's doing a nice job in this series. He's averaging 7 points and 4 rebounds. Whenever he gets the time, he comes in with impressive numbers.
Orlando by 5. Atlanta hanging in here in the first half. But look out for quarter number 3. That's been Orlando's hammer quarter. Under Shaquille. Double team on him, doesn't matter.
Because it's a guard. See, Steve Smith was on the bottom of that trap. Shaq, as soon as he saw that, just stepped right in and moved him out.
Look out. Hardaway, Grant, and Scott are about to re-enter the game for Orlando, leading by 7. 10 to shoot.
See, Bowie doing a nice job denying the passing lane to Smith.
Hugh Hollins with a call away from the ball down on the baseline.
See, now there is a back screen. Leitner gets caught up high. Now watch what happens. As Leitner comes on the top, he just split. See, whose job is it to cut the man off? Well, the man who is double teaming should overlap so that that offensive player cannot step through the trap. That time you saw Leitner came down. There was a big opening. Shaq just stepped right through the double team.
Foul was on Joe Wolf, who goes out of the game, and Horace Grant, Dennis Scott, and Penny Hardaway are back in. It's a 5-point Orlando lead. 5:38 to go in the first half.
Oh, get the trap there now.
Steve Smith playing Nick Anderson.
Plenty of time.
Anderson open on the one-touch pass from Anthony Hardaway. Here's Augmon on the run. Leitner and Shaquille down floor, traveling the call on Steve Smith.
Hey, Lenny Wilkins on the side. He was frustrated on that. He was looking for the shot. He honestly thought Steve might have. He would have been better off releasing the 3 that time.
Reggie Jordan defending Hardaway. 10 on the shot clock. Pass from Shaquille. Hawks up 3-on-1. That wasn't exactly a clinic, but Jordan made him pay.
And Jordan, fortunately, trailed the play. That was a 4-man break.
That was weak.
Well, you like to see nice ball movement in that, but come on, we can do it at all these beds.
Like, no, you, no, me, no, you. All right, it's 38-35, Orlando. 4:35 to go in the first half.
Yeah, this is where Penny's dangerous.
Amen.
Yeah, he's beautiful, Bob. He plays the board so well, especially on that side of the floor.
He's posted against Steve Smith, and Steve's an inch taller. Didn't matter. Reggie Jordan, hard to the hoop.
Oh, you see, that was a bad choice. Leitner was wide open again, down on that left side.
Dennis Scott, 3D off the dribble. 43-35, Orlando by 8.
Scott in this series, 11 for 26 in 3, shooting over 40%.
Matches Orlando's biggest lead. Leitner gets the double team. Open man's on. Draws foul. On Shaquille O'Neal. You're looking at the Arena in Orlando, Florida. Eastern Conference semifinals, Game 5. Orlando leading in the series 3-1 and leading this game 43-35. Augmon back to the free throw line.
Anytime that Christian Leitner is double teamed on the post by Orlando, Augmon seems to be the man that's open. And if he cuts quickly, you know that Leitner will get you the pass.
Augmon gets them both. Magic by 6, 3:39 to go in the half. Stacey has 9 here in the first half. That was hot butter defense. Orlando playing the role of the knife.
Well, anytime that you get the trap in the backcourt and you throw it to a big forward and he dribbles the length of the floor, you're in trouble.
Leitner misses. Alan Henderson up high. Tried to jam it back in. Leitner. Past Horace Grant.
That was a beautiful look by Henderson to find Leitner, and that was a difficult shot. Leitner knocked it down with his left hand.
Horace Grant left alone inside off the double team. Smith tried to get there, but too late. It's an 8-point Orlando lead.
The last 2 times down the floor, the Hawks are not getting to the inside of the guy who's in the painted lane. When you're rotating, you got to get in front of that guy and cut off the pass.
Penetration again, 10 to shoot. Pick and roll with Blaylock and Allen Henderson. Tough shot by Mookie.
Oh, delay again.
That'll be a warning on the delay. 2:37 to go in the half. Orlando up by 6 points.
Orlando, you got to be encouraged, Bob. You're getting good shots. But where you have to do it is defensively. You've got to sharpen up and be better on the rotations, quicker. Cut down the passing angle.
Oh, baby. Penny Hardaway. That's becoming routine. He's going to be a handful for Chicago. Orlando gets past Atlanta like everybody's expecting.
Oh, the Hawks luck out here. Get a loose ball foul. I like the fact Orlando is really hustling here right now. Defensively, everyone's trying to cover on the ball penetration. We'd like to show you why it's difficult to trap Orlando. You can see right here in the backcourt, they've got Penny Hardaway with the ball. He's going to pass the ball to Horace Grant. He will take the ball up to the top of the circle. Now watch what happens. You have an advantage, 4-on-3 right now. Now once you get to this point, now here, stop right there. Now, if Leitner steps up, Shaq steps to the basket. If Augman comes to get him here, then you open up Scott for a 3. See, they really put a lot of pressure on you because of their guns. So if you are going to trap them, then you better stop the basketball out by half court.
Fast break point 17 to 3, just devastatingly different. 49-48, however, Magic leading in the ball game. And Horace Grant, whom you're looking at, has 2 fouls now. They had earlier given a foul to Shaquille O'Neal that was taken away and given to Horace. So Shaq has no fouls. Horace with 2. After saying all that, the Hawks, with that free throw, are only 6 points down.
You're absolutely right, and that's what's so amazing about this. They're not on the top of their game, especially defensively, and they're right here. Main thing is they must play big in the last 2 minutes.
I heard him. He called it.
No,
I heard that.
don't tell me.
I heard that.
No, he said, no, I'm shooting over 70% in this series.
He looked right in my eye.
That's why he banked it.
He looked right in my eye.
Horace Grant came in shooting 70% tonight. He's 5 for 6 from the field.
Long on the penetration. Shaquille with the facial and the personal foul. That'll be Shaq's first.
Now just keep an eye on this. Look at the Shaq man coming right in. Well, of course, he catches him with the lower part. Everyone wants the block except he almost dislocated his shoulder. Here's Horace with the bank.
Oh, yeah. That's what he calls it. Long at the free throw line, and it's 51-44. How about this? Let's pause to note right here that after 12 minutes of play last night, the Atlanta Hawks had the same number, or on Monday night, the same number of points of 44.
To show you how hot Horace Grant is in this, he is 40 for 56.
Wow. Magic by 6, minute half to go in the half.
They're bringing Shaq on the baseline. Leitner pushing him up.
The Hawks have done a better job foul away from the ball there. Actually, it's on. Illegal defense is the call. Coming up, Reebok halftime report, Ernie Johnson, Gerald Miller, joined by Blazers coach P.J. Carlesimo with highlights from Magic Johnson's press conference today and a preview of tomorrow night's game 6 between the Spurs and the Jazz. So the illegal defense call and the inbound after the technical free throw for Orlando, now up 7. Penny Hardaway missing, Shaquille staying with it.
Oh, Leitner thought he had a ball. Yeah, Leitner, that was a tough call. Because Leitner really, for the foul, he didn't get his money's worth. Okay, he really didn't.
That's his second.
Now this is just a quick move by Penny coming in. That was the second shot. Now as Shaq rebounds it, see, now that's a tough call. That is really a tough call.
Shaquille tonight is 2 for 5 from the line.
Excuse me, Bob. You'd like to say, well, that was a good foul by Leitner because the Shaq will make 1 out of 2 or he'll miss the 2. Oh, another offensive rebound. Give me a break.
Scott missed the 3.
Come on, get it out. Come on, you got numbers here now.
Open man is Steve Smith. Hasn't had a 3 yet. Had 7 in game number 4.
Great hustle.
Atlanta.
Great hustle by Christian Leitner. And Long, that time, saved that, called the timeout.
Leitner wanting to get in the face of Hugh Hollins. His teammates wisely keeping him away as Lenny Wilkins talks.
Well, Leitner is frustrated because at the other end, he really didn't think he deserved the foul.
They're going to call a full timeout now with under a minute to go in the half. If you wondered what Christian Leitner was so hot about, take a look at the replay.
Well, you're going to see him. He gets popped right here. And you can see he got hit pretty hard, knocked down to the floor. We'll give you another angle on it. You can see how he gets tangled up. Lenny Wilkins was hot. He is in the face of Hugh Hollins because he feels that his center picks up a cheap foul at the other end of the floor, and here was fouled and should be shooting.
Under a minute to go. 52-45. Orlando. Reebok halftime report coming up here in 43 seconds. Hoffman in the paint again. He's been really effective in the paint tonight. That's 11.
The interesting thing, Bob, on the screen and roll on the left side of the floor, the roll guy has been open the entire first half.
Lenny Hardaway, they're posting him more in this period. Good defensive play by Atlanta's Christian Leitner.
Oh, boy, Leitner, terrific. Terrific.
Hawks again, 3-on-3, open court. Smith's going to step it up, kick it to Blaylock. Now they'll have to work for the shot. Pick and roll. Just about a half-second difference in the shot and game clock.
Yep, they're going to run out the clock.
Blaylock. That's the end of the first half of play. Orlando leading it by 5. Shaquille O'Neal had 19 points in the entire game on Monday night. 14 and 6 rebounds here at the Arena.
The Reebok Halftime Report is brought to you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, this is my planet?
Hey, look at the Hawks hanging around, just down by 5 after 24 minutes. To dream. Oh, no, I won't do that. Ernie Johnson, Cheryl Miller, and the Blazers' P.J. Carlissimo in Atlanta. We got your Reebok Halftime Report. I guess you really had to be here for the Open to appreciate that little bit of humor. Of course, the Chicago Bulls are the prize for the winner of this Orlando-Atlanta series. The Bulls putting away the Knicks in 5 and knocking New York out of the playoffs for the 5th time in this decade. Now with an expected playoff rematch with the Magic on the horizon, the Bulls are in the market for a little payback.
You know, I think it's obvious that, you know, Orlando is probably going to come out of that series. And, you know, it does give us an opportunity to get some revenge. And, you know, I feel like that we're a much better ball club this season than we were last season.
I think now I have a chance to redeem myself, if I can say it that way. And I think we do as a unit have a chance to redeem ourselves. I don't think the job's going to be easy. You know, we do have the home court advantage, which is different from last year, but that doesn't guarantee us getting past Orlando. And I think they're a year older, as well as, you know, we're more understanding about each other's talents and have a better continuity about each other, I think. And hopefully that's enough to get us past those guys.
If the series were to start right now, Tony Kukoc again could not go. He missed the last 3 games against the Knicks. What's the impact there, PJ?
I think enormous. I think talking to some of the New York coaches, they felt that with Kukoc not there, the Bulls' smaller lineup was not as effective as it was at times during the regular season. So Tony being healthy, and I think maybe surprising to a lot of people, Chicago's rebounding. They're a smaller team. People perceive Chicago to be a small team and Orlando to be the big, strong team. Rebounding is the opposite. Chicago's the best rebounding team in the league. I think that's going to be a huge factor in that series.
Well, I think Kukoc, what he has given the Orlando Magic, played against Orlando Magic, 20 points, shot 59% from the field, 63% from the three-point arc, but he's not healthy. He's not healthy. But you were throwing out some stats about rebounding, and it's all for naught because if Chicago continues to play poorly, it doesn't matter.
No, their big three have to play clearly, and then I think it's going to be the great series that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
If indeed it is the Orlando Magic in there, just up by 5 at the break. Yeah, as we take you to break, give a listen to Magic Johnson, folks, explaining to reporters today why his playing days are through.
You know, I did what I set out to do. I had a wonderful time. It was a great experience, a lot of fun. My son saw me play. And I think I did it for everybody who have something, whether it's HIV or AIDS or anything else. So it's been great, you know, and this is not a sad day or a bad day. It's a good day because God blessed me to be able to come back, and God will continue to bless me after this is over. And it's over now, and I'm happy about it. So there it is.
Eastern Conference semis, the Magic trying to close out the Hawks. They got them by a handful as the Reebok halftime report rolls on. The other unsettled conference semi could be settled tomorrow night when the Spurs and Jazz hook up at the Delta Center, 9 o'clock Eastern on TNT. Utah's home with a chance to clinch, but if they cannot close the deal, we're looking at a Game 7 in San Antonio, where last night the Spurs fought off elimination, winning by 11.
They're a great home team. I think the key for us to win is come out and not get behind big. And if we can keep it close to the fourth quarter, we feel like that we have so much offensive power, and we have David in the middle on defense to anchor our defensive attack. I think we should be fine.
It's going to be a different story. I think they're going to try to come out and play the same way I believe they played tonight, but we can't let that happen. I think we got to do our thing, is to go out there and still play aggressively.
War Eagle, if you went to Auburn, you got on the Reebok halftime report this time around. How do we see the next game in this series coming up, Utah at home? And it's not a guarantee by any means with San Antonio with little momentum here.
No, far from a guarantee. I think during the regular season, San Antonio won both games in Utah, so they know they can win there. David Robinson played a complete game last night. He's not played as poorly as some people would think during the playoffs, but last night he did the other things. He was big on the boards. He only got one block shot, but altered a bunch of other ones. I think when David plays that way, they've got a great opportunity, and Utah's supporting cast weren't there last night.
They were definitely non-existent, but I'll tell you one thing, having Utah going back to home, if you look at the last 5 games, none of these games have been decided by anything less than double digits, so I don't expect a close game. But I really like Utah at home. They play tough, aggressive defense. Karl Malone, who had an off night last night, will come back and have a huge game.
I think back to something Danny Ainge said the other night about field goal attempts, and for the first time in the series last night, San Antonio did take more shots than the Utah Jazz. Back to close it out in just a minute. Atlanta trying to hang with the Orlando Magic. Shaq, he's got 14 in the first half, and it's Orlando by 5. And we're back. Toronto's Isaiah Thomas caught a little flack when he made Damon Stoudemire his first pick. Today, Damon was named the Schick Rookie of the Year. And I tell you something, Isaiah Thomas was pumped.
And I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to kiss you. Because I love you.
Here's the way the voting shaped up. Damon Stoudemire, a landslide winner. Arvydas Sabonis of Portland, second. Then Joe Smith, Michael Finley, Jerry Stackhouse, and Kevin Garnett. Arvydas Sabonis did get some consideration for that award. You know, if he had been used properly this year.
You make an excellent point. We need a recount. No, Bob Whitsitt wouldn't have kissed him.
I mean, I know that you felt strongly about the way this guy played, not just because you're his coach, but he had a great year.
I thought he had a fabulous year, and I thought the fact that we did better than most of the other rookies. Our team was a better team, and he did it in the fourth quarter a lot in big games. I thought he had a fabulous year, but I think the fact that he's a little old for a rookie, I think that worked against him.
And the background probably,
please, give me a break.
Runner up for sixth man also.
No, when you open up that media guide and you look at that picture, that caption underneath said rookie, he should have been Rookie of the Year.
Thank you very much. And PJ, thank you very much for being here the last couple of nights. It's been great having you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't do this, but no. If you can't get enough of PJ, don't despair. He's going to join Vince Cellini on Inside the NBA after the Hawks and Magic right here on TNT. If we're not having fun, we just don't want to be here, folks. 52-47, Orlando over Atlanta. Third quarter coming up.
The Reebok Halftime Report has been brought to you by Reebok. Are you prepared to say, "This is my planet"?
This were a movie, you might call it Die Hard 2. The Hawks aren't going down easy to the Eastern Conference defending champion Orlando Magic, down by 5 at the half. Let's see what Lenny Wilkens has in mind for the final 24 minutes. Here's Kevin Kiley.
Lenny, you guys have missed all 8 of your three-point attempts, and you're just 5 down. Is this good or bad?
Well, I think it's good. I think we got in a hurry on a couple of the shots, and we're kind of anxious out there. Our adrenaline's going, and I told the guys, just be patient. You know, all we got to do is move the ball. We'll get some good opportunities.
Magic 4 for 11 from the free throw line. You going to foul them in the second half?
No, we're just going to let him go. Yeah. Hey, listen, if we get back there, of course, you know, I mean, you can't give him the basket, you know, and, I mean, he's too good a player inside. So if we got to use all our fouls up, we'll have to use them.
All right, thanks, Lenny. Back to you, Bob and Yubi.
Yeah, I think Hubie, you have 6. I still have all 6 of mine left. Although we're not supposed to participate in the contest. The Orlando Magic led by as many as 6 times in the first half of this game. But Atlanta made comebacks at the end of the first period, at the end of the second period, a combined 13-3. And they're only down 5, Hubie.
Now, they're right in this because Augman and Long have 11 and 12 points each. Yeah. But Blaylock and Smith are 4 for 12. The key being only 12 shots for those 2 guys. See, 6 and 6. That would bother me. They need to get more involved here. And at the other end of the floor, Orlando is doing everything. Naturally, the scoring is spread out. But the key being 17-3 in fast break points. That's a monster.
Here's a look at the statistical story. You see the difference in Game 4 tonight for Smith and Blaylock. Neither has hit a 3. Nobody else on the team has dropped one down either. And the shooting 61-44%. Hubie, as we look at these stats, the third quarter has been devastating for Orlando. They've just been hammering everybody, and they outscored Atlanta 36-15 in the game on Monday night.
Now you can see the Shaq man with the 20 catches. He was double teamed 11 times. He's 6 for 8, the assists 2. Fouled 5 times. Now we know he's struggling on the foul line. Now Steve Smith on the other end is spotting up. You can see Anderson's doing a good job. He's getting to him quick. One post up. He put that fadeaway jumper down. And then you can see the drives if it can happen. You got to find these people. He's an excellent foul shooter, always in the mid-80s. Points 9, that doesn't get it done here tonight, Bob.
But back to this third quarter. This third period throughout the playoffs, with the exception of one game, has been Orlando's time. If you're Lenny Wilkens and the Hawks, what do you think when you come out here knowing they got you 36-15 and overcame a 20-point Hawks lead on Monday night?
New game. Each game has a different personality. The referees are calling the game completely different. You don't even talk about it. The big thing is that, you know, they're a +8 in all of their playoffs with Detroit and with Atlanta in this corner. You got to come out knowing that you must defend.
And Dennis Scott looked like he launched a 3. Unfortunately, he was right underneath the hoop. It goes over the backboard. 52-47. Atlanta, and the Hawks, Atlanta trailing by 5.
Now Dennis is struggling in this game. He's only 1 for 5, 1 for 3 and 3s. But you got to give the Hawks credit. They've done a good job on him throughout this series.
Leitner thought about the jumper. Bad pass.
You cannot throw a soft pass 20 to 25 feet to a guy coming off the screen who is being hounded by Nick Anderson.
Atlanta down by 7. High screen and roll. Smith getting it in the paint and kicking it. Hawks having trouble getting a shot off. Leitner does on the baseline.
That was a tough shot because Christian was behind the backboard. He had to reach out to shoot that one around the corner.
Shaquille O'Neal, double team. They're going to go right back to him.
Yeah, I like that.
Different double team that time, and the foul.
See, they're using Mookie Blaylock to come in on there, and where in the other games he just split and shot right through. Now look at this pass. See, this is a soft left-handed pass. Nick Anderson played it beautifully, and Nick Anderson and Hardaway are both averaging 2 steals a game in this playoff series.
That's 3 on Christian Leitner, and Shaquille O'Neal steps to the free throw line again, where he is 2 for 6 tonight. 2 for 7. think he's too tall. That's my analysis. He's too close to the rim. He doesn't have that ability to shoot it up because he's up so high.
Well, you know, when we talked with Brian Hill today, he said the shooting coach works with him. He makes them in the gym. Like last night, he worked an hour and 15 minutes. He makes them. He shoots a high percentage. He comes to the game. He doesn't get the proper lift, and he shoots line drives.
Plus, his shoes have got to be a problem. There's Tom Sterner, who works with him.
That's frustration because, like in this series, Bob, we know he's getting 12 attempts a game, and you know something like this is going to happen if they move on, you know, or when they move on and they play Chicago.
There was an offensive foul on Long, by the way, on the screen just a moment ago. And Shaquille now has 17. He had a total of 19 in the game Monday night.
Big thing for the Hawks. You know, you have to own up now. Good screens, set good screens to get high percentage shots.
10 to shoot. Steve Smith isolated against Anderson. He'll take the three. The Hawks have hit 0 threes tonight after getting 12 in game number 4.
They're 0 for 9. Here's the back screen for Hardaway. See, they just pick their spots. Now they're bringing Grant into the post.
Offensive foul on Penny Hardaway.
Well, that's the first time that they gave that look. They run Hardaway off Shaquille's back screen, set him up on the post, but that time he vacated the post, came across the lane, and set up Horace Grant.
Both teams with 7 turnovers now. Orlando by 8 points, 9:25 to go third period. Augman got Scott in the air and caused Dennis to commit the foul. That's his second.
One guy out there who you know can hurt you is the guy in our picture. Even when he's struggling, you know that he's so dangerous. He made 267 threes this year, NBA record. That's 50 more than John Starks made a year ago when Starks set the record in '95. So you go at the guy and you get him in foul trouble, you get him out, all of a sudden you don't have to worry about that three-point shooter who shoots in the high 40s.
Stacy above his average for the playoff series. He's averaging 9.5 points a game. Now has 13 tonight. And the Hawks again holding right around that 5-6 point deficit mark. 9:32 to go in the third.
And you have to pay attention because they're missing their threes now, but if they ever get on a hot streak.
Anderson missing. Leitner rebounding. Touchdown pass.
Oh,
deflected by Blaylock. Officials not sure which way to call it on the out of bounds. Mike Mathis says, I'll call it Atlanta ball.
Yeah, Bob Delaney, who was right in front, did not have a good look. He was kind of like blocked out on the play. Now we're going to show it to you right here. As Nick looks at the Blaylock right here. Now there's your pass. And as it goes off, it looked like it was off Atlanta throwing it out of bounds from that angle.
Mookie trying to hit Steve Smith out of bounds, and the Hawks immediately turn it over. 8 Atlanta turnovers, 7 for Orlando. Orlando scored 5 points in this quarter. Hawks 4. Leitner tipped it right to Hardaway. Now the Hawks have the numbers.
4 on 3.
Boy, that's going the hard way on a break.
That sure is. And that was excellent recovery by Hardaway.
10 to shoot. Steve Smith taking Horace Grant off the dribble. Horace Grant got up there and got a piece of it.
The Hawks are down there knocking on the door but coming up empty.
Nick Anderson. I think Leitner got a piece of that one. Saved by Long.
The Hawks need like a good play or a 3 to pick up their spirits here.
How about that? Leitner passed up the open baseline jumper.
There you go.
And he gave it to Grant Long, who hit the 2. It's a 4-point Orlando lead.
Now the last 3 transition, the Hawks have they had good numbers on the break. But they only come up 1 out of 3. Now there's a concerned coach. Yeah, right. Definitely, because his team. We were talking, blowing all the smoke about the third quarter, how they erupt. We have not seen it.
Yeah, Atlanta's outscored them 6-5 so far with 7:41 to go in the quarter. Shaquille just split the double team, drew the foul, and won.
When you double team and you use Mookie Blaylock, The big fella just steps right into Mookie Blaylock and shoots up over the top. But if he gets the advantage of getting into the chest of his defender, well then forget it, right? Because he'll be on the line all night long.
A three-point conversion play for Shaquille. It's 60-53, 7:35 remaining in the third quarter. And Sean Rooks will be in momentarily because Christian Laettner just picked up his fourth personal foul. Double team on Ogden. Smith. Not tonight. Long big rebound. Blaylock. Baseline jumper. Nope.
Look out Long.
Hardaway. Missed the layup. Credit Blaylock with bothering him.
Mookie Blaylock for the third time on the All-NBA second team defense.
Long. That's a triple, and that's Atlanta's first three of the night. And Atlanta now down only 4 points, and Grant Long has 17 in this game.
He's playing big. Lenny thought at the beginning of the series that he could do a good job with Grant, but Grant has had a spectacular series.
Penny Hardaway missing inside. Shaquille following and missing, but he's fouled. Timeout on the floor with 6:37 to go in the third period. It's still close.
Back at the arena, Kevin Kiley with Bob Neal and Hubie Brown. The Magic clinging to a 4-point lead in the third quarter. This is Dr. Jim Barnett. It was discovered today that Shaquille O'Neal last Monday night in Atlanta had some chest discomfort at halftime, played the second half, was not feeling well, had a complete cardiac examination yesterday, and has played the whole game, has 20 points tonight. Doctor, can you take us through what happened the other night?
Kevin, Shaq just didn't feel well at halftime. He was hesitant and felt fatigued, and was evaluated by Rick Baxley, our internist there with us in Atlanta. And Rick had him see Curtis Weaver, one of our cardiologists on staff that's followed Shaq since he's been here. He had a complete workup yesterday, including a stress examination, and was cleared to play without restriction. He's fine.
What was it about the symptom that made him go to a cardiologist?
Well, you have to understand you're talking to an orthopedic surgeon, but we think it was a benign supraventricular arrhythmia, maybe PACs brought about by too much caffeine, perhaps sodas, tea, or something like that.
Right, I get 2 of those a day, I think, Doc. I'll see you after the game. Back to you, Bob. Hubie.
Well, I think that's all the coffee I'll have tonight. Thank you very much. Orlando 61-56. We're making light of it, and that's because things look to be in fine shape for Shaquille O'Neal. 21 points, 8 rebounds tonight. Blaylock on the baseline gets the lay-in. It's a 3-point game.
That was a beautiful, it looked like a screen to the right side of the lane, and Blaylock came off in a nice pass, an unselfish play.
Orlando playing with a little less energy than they did in the third quarter on Monday night. Penny Hardaway left alone, and that doesn't require a lot of energy. 64-58 Orlando.
I was surprised because Mookie Blaylock was right on top of him, and he never raised a hand to contest the shot.
Blaylock forced a 3 up out of bounds off Atlanta. It'll be Orlando ball.
Well, you know, you hate to see that. You're hoping that he wasn't thinking payback, because he definitely did not have a good look at that rim.
But I'll bet he was. So, of course, I can't read his mind. Hardaway on the drive. He's missed a couple down there, but every time he does, Shaquille's there to follow. And O'Neal will go to the line. Here is the GMC scoreboard, and the Chicago Bulls await the winner of this series. Michael Jordan with 35 last night, just a routine night for Michael Jordan. And New York ends their run this year. San Antonio beat Utah. That's at 3-2, and Hubie will be joining Dick Stockton for the telecast tomorrow night at 9 Eastern on TNT at Salt Lake City for that game.
Well, they're doing a good job. They're fouling him, and he's missing. But Shaq has 9 rebounds in this game, 5 at the offensive end.
Magic by 6. 5:16 to go in the period. Steve Smith. Hawks need him to get hot.
Oh, they sure do.
Got a block. 6 to shoot. Bad pass. Rooks. Hardaway and Grant.
Look at Hardaway. Maybe. Oh, wow.
Let's see if he's all right.
I hope so.
Yep, he is.
Because when you step on another guy's foot, that's one of the worst roll of the ankles you can get.
Scott capturing the board. Grant Hardaway again. A quick run out by Orlando. Nick Anderson's going to be open on the baseline. Long's playing well. He got there tonight. Shaquille follows and one. Uh-oh, look out. Third quarter. Orlando exploding in the last minute of play. 10-point lead.
And all of this could have been avoided because the Hawks are shooting themselves right in the foot. Now just watch. The big fella maneuvers in here now for his 10th rebound and his 6th offensive board.
Horace Grant kept it alive. Smith comes up with it. Hawks have the numbers. Grant Long's been shooting well tonight. Not this time. Rooks, big board. And he draws the foul. This is Orlando's biggest lead. If Orlando holds on and wins tonight, they're up by 10 here. They'll play against the Bulls in Game 1 of the conference finals at 3:30 Sunday in Chicago. 3:30 Sunday afternoon, and that game will be on NBC. Rooks, 58% free throw shooter in the playoffs.
You know, in this series, Leitner and Rooks are getting 24 points a game, but the problem is on the rebounding. They're only averaging 7 boards between them, and unfortunately for them, the Shaq man has been destroying them in all the games but Game 4, averaging right at over 6 now with the amount that he has this season.
Nick Anderson open for the 3. Gives it up to Hardaway. 10 to shoot. Back to Anderson. Blaylock, Hawks have the numbers again. But Blaylock slows it down.
Orlando is doing an excellent job, Bob, running back defensively and getting to the three-point shooters. Now, they're giving up some other things, but they're not getting beaten with the threes.
They're spotting up right along with Atlanta.
Yes, they are.
Travel, Grant Long. Atlanta down by 8, 3:46 remaining in the third.
It's incredible because you keep looking at the scoreboard and you say, Orlando's up at least 15. Orlando's up 12 because Atlanta keeps continuing to turn the ball over or forcing some bad shots, and you think they should be out of this game, and they're only down 8.
Keel one-on-one with Rooks. Here comes the double. Back into him again, posted lower. There's that turnaround shot. If he's hitting that, turn out the lights.
When they came on the baseline in Game 4 in that fourth quarter, that disrupted his attempts. There was no doubt about it.
I was saying about how well Orlando played in the third. How about Shaquille? 11 in the third period here tonight. 7 to shoot for Atlanta. Blaylock. Grant Long, good pass. That was a long way to go on that screen and roll, and the Hawks still trail by 8.
Every time Grant Long scores on the left side of the floor, he's having a conversation with the Orlando bench. They're over there. They're hysterical right now, laughing at whatever he said.
Said something, just remember, Eastern Michigan University.
Oh, okay.
Home of the great shooters.
All right.
Shaquille. He's fouled and one. 27 points tonight for O'Neal. Wow, that's 13 in the quarter for him.
Yeah, the bench, the Atlanta bench, the coaching staff, very upset because no one came on the double team.
Ten-point Orlando lead with 2 minutes 40 seconds to go in the quarter. Shaquille with the basket, and he'll have a free throw attempt when he comes back.
Yeah, the big fella, anytime that he turns baseline, you don't bring anyone from that area, he's up and in. Now tonight, 30 catches, 17 double teams. The shots, he's 11 for 13. The assists, you can see he's been fouled 9 times, struggling on the line. He's missed 5 foul shots. But in this quarter, he has scored 13 points. He's 5 for 5 in field goal. The rest of the Magic, 3 for 13. So he's got them on his back right now. If he could ever make his field goals, his foul shots, they'll blow this thing right open.
Opportunity for the three-point conversion here, and that would give the Magic their biggest lead.
Oh, come on, Sean Rooks. Come on, you've got to do a better rebounding job than that. Oh, my.
1:29 to go in the period. Hardaway kicking it to Dennis Scott. Ogman got a piece of it, but then they lost again. Ogman would have had the layup. Hardaway inside to Shaquille.
Nice
3 to shoot.
In your heart.
3 seconds, number 3, 4 of 3. If you're into numerology, that was a good moment.
In your heart. Excellent ball movement.
You mentioned earlier, even when Dennis Scott's slumping, which he's been doing in this series, he's the person who hits the dagger so often. Blaylock answers. That's his first 3 of the night. Orlando by 10.
Anytime you give up second shot opportunities, Bob, 9 out of 10 times it comes back to haunt you. They should get a high percentage shot, or you usually foul and put them on the foul line.
Hardaway slips past the steal attempt from Blaylock and then is fouled by Sean Rooks. That's his 5th.
Just keep an eye on the ball movement here. As they run out at Penny, Penny goes right into the post. Shaq sees the double team, and then here they come. Drive and kick. And there he is right in the corner. Because you use 2 men on Shaq. If they kick out, Orlando in this series is trying to drive the ball right back into the paint and force your defense to collapse, and that opens up either Anderson or Scott on the wing.
Penny Hardaway stepping to the line. It's a 12-point Magic lead, 1:37 to go. And tonight, Penny a quiet 16. But he sometimes has a quiet 30. Just fits into the flow. Steve Smith posted one of the few times he's been posted down there.
Yep, and you know what, Bob? He threw the ball out, reposted, and pushed his defensive man right back into the lane.
Nick Anderson jumped up and down, stomping his feet like someone stole his lollipop after that basket by Smith. Good play by Sean Rooks, as Shaw didn't see Shaquille slipping in behind Rooks.
There it is.
That's a triple. And I said Die Hard is a good name for the Atlanta Hawks in these last 2. Every opportunity to be blown out of here. They're still down only 7.
Now, Grant Long with 22 points. He has 10 in his 3rd quarter.
Orlando turnover.
The big key being they're making a couple of threes, and that's where they're the danger. And what happens is you're rolling along. You're not paying attention. Here they are, only 7 down.
Hugh Holland's not sure whether or not Craig Elo has a legal substitution here. He's checking with Mike Mathis, and yes, he is in for Stacey Augmon. Hawks down by 7, 45.4 to go in the period.
Well, what they're doing here is they're getting Elo in so they have another 3-point shooter. I like this. See, Shaq is double teaming anytime you throw the ball into Steve Smith.
Hawks missed an opportunity there to pull to within 5. 25 seconds in the period. Blaylock on Hardaway. Craig Elo on Hardaway. Blaylock's on Shaw.
You're going to have 4-second differential here.
Shaw's the open man. Just beat the clock. Hawks get the rebound. 2 seconds.
Oh, nice.
Blaylock, time for the shot.
How about it?
Mookie Blaylock got the pass from Elo. Stepped across the center court line and drills the 3. The Hawks trail it by 4.
This is a great pass by Elo. How about that? He threw a bullet, a rope, right past the defender, and then a great catch, and good. Mookie's second 3 in this 3rd quarter. Just beautiful.
Hawks on an 8-0 run the last minute and a half of that period. The Hawks a little bit like a boxer winning the last minute of every round. In each of the 3 quarters, the Hawks have outscored in the last 2 minutes Orlando by a cumulative 21-3. They're here now within 4. Kevin Kiley, you were near the Hawks huddle. What's happening?
I'll tell you, Bob, I don't know if they're going to win this game, but the Hawks are having a whole lot of fun. Slapping 5, laughing it up. Grant Long very pumped up. And Lenny Smilin said, hey, Mookie's hot. Let's give him another one. They're going to go to him right here.
Grant Long ought to be smiling. 22 points in this game. Steve Smith needs to get hot, too. Here's Mookie. They're going right to him.
Oh, yes.
and the Hawks are within 1 point of Orlando. That caused a hush to hit the arena for just a moment.
Mookie Blaylock faded on the screen because his man cheated and double spaced. That was a great read of the defense.
Blaylock went for the steal. Now the Hawks with the rebound and the run. Orlando back quickly. Shaquille out. Koncak is in along with Shaw and Wolf off the bench. Grant Long's going to try it.
Oh, yeah, Penny got hit.
By Elo.
Yeah, Elo was coming in, slashing in. We'd like to show you that last play by Mookie Blaylock. There's going to be a screen down right here. Now just watch how he fades as his man shoots the gap. You see, you read the defense. See, right now, Hardaway double space. That was a beautiful read by Blaylock.
Orlando by a single point. Posting up Hardaway. There's the double team. Rooks is in there with 5 fouls. They'll leave him there, I'm sure. Anderson missing the tip in.
Hardaway sliced right in there. Now, you have Shaquille O'Neal out of there right now. All 5 guys have got to be conscious. Rooks has got to get some defensive boards.
Posting up Steve Smith down on the block. Open man Elo for 3.
Yes!
Oh, by Grant Long! And they're going to call it technical for hanging on the rim.
Yeah, that's a good call. You hate to see it called, but, you know, there was no reason. He's all pumped up. He's having a great time. You know, except there was no reason to hang on here. You're going to see him come right in here right now, see? And as soon as he chinned himself, it was automatic.
Hawks down by 1, now down by 2. And Orlando ball. Long 24 points and 12 rebounds. Atlanta right in this game. And Hubie, we've been talking about it ever since the middle of the first quarter. Atlanta has been hanging around all night long. They have an opportunity to extend this series.
So as soon as they started to make the threes, you knew they were going to be deep trouble.
Joe Wolf shoots the air ball, but who's there? Penny. Long rebound. Koncak. 2 offensive boards off 2 bad misses. Down to Wolf against Blaylock. Wolf got him that time.
Now, the reason why everyone's concerned here is Wolf has been struggling. He's only shooting 29% in this playoff series.
Rooks with the pick and roll from Blaylock. Opened up for a moment, but the passing lanes were clogged.
High screen and roll.
Koncak with the knee, called for the foul.
Good call.
It's his third.
That time, John did not step out on the trap. He tried to get him with his leg.
Timeout on the floor, 9:50 to go. Magic by 4. Tonight's Dutch boy in the paint.
Well, you can see the power forwards here. This is the first time that Grant Long has really taken advantage of Horace Grant. The rebounding being the major key, 12-3. Points in the paint for the Hawks, only minus 18. That's not bad. Okay, that's not bad.
For the series, they're down like 92 points for the series. All right, Atlanta inbounding the ball, down 4, 9:50 to go in the ball game. Shaquille on the bench. Crowd is definitely back into this ball game because they sense that they've got a contest on their hands. The whistle blown by Mike Mathis.
Well, we just had a screen across the lane by Elo to bring Grant Long into the post-up area, and they definitely mugged the screener.
Foul on Wolf. That's 2 team fouls on Orlando. Hawks have committed 1.
Same play.
Steve Smith has Anderson on it. Takes him off the dribble from 14. Nice. And it's a 2-point Orlando lead with 9:22 to go. Leitner's back the ballgame carrying 4 personal fouls at center. Sean Rooks on the bench with 5 for the Hawks. Penny Hardaway inside of Elo. Hawks defended it well. Hawks have the numbers.
Good job that time by Orlando. They got back and give it right to Mookie Blaylock to let him take Koncak. Oh, you had it. They had him.
Falling out of bounds Steve Smith wanted the foul, didn't get it, just had to throw up the prayer. The Hawks wasted that opportunity. Orlando by 2.
They just had Blaylock being played by contact in the middle of the floor.
Anderson got Blaylock completely turned around on that baseline spin move. Orlando up by 4, 8:35 remaining. Next dead ball, Shaquille and Horace Grant will be back in the game for the Magic.
Whenever Orlando switches and Leitner has Wolf on him, they've got to see that and go right to him.
Wolf fouls Steve Smith. That's the 3rd team foul on Orlando. 3rd person, Joe Wolf. Here's Grant and Shaquille back into the ball game. Koncak and Wolf will go out.
They just missed a couple of solid opportunities, Bob. They had 2 major mismatches, did not read it correctly.
Posting Steve Smith. There's the double team. Back to Steve Smith. Out of the double team, who's open? Long on the drive. Tried to hand it off to Leitner. Instead, gave it to Orlando. The epitaph for the Hawks, if they lose this game, will be missed opportunities. 8 to shoot, Shaquille. Double team from Elo. 5 to shoot.
Nice third.
Nice pass from Anderson, and Horace Grant misses it. Grant Long, he is fired up for this game. This is the most effort we've seen out of Grant Long in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he has the entire package tonight, Bob. You know, he's everywhere. And the main thing is he's making all these perimeter shots. But the big fella did not have that ball. He just reached in and grabbed on it. It was like a vice.
And shocking reward. Orlando by 4. 7:32 to go. Open man Hardaway. And 1.
Pretty. What a pretty move. He came into the middle, dribbling with that high bounce, and he gave him a little hesitation. Just watch it. A little hesitation. The defense moved all the way, sends it down with his left hand.
I don't know who they call the foul on. I didn't see anybody. Maybe Steve Smith up high. Yeah, they got him for his 3rd. Looked like a pretty open lane there, and it's a missed free throw. Leitner with the rebound. Once again, Magic by 6. Hawks had cut it to 2. 7:22 remaining. Blaylock hard to the hoop, and he's hammered. That'll be the 4th team foul committed by Orlando. Next time they foul Atlanta will go to the line no matter what.
His second 14 foul.
Tomorrow night at 9, notice the time, 9 Eastern time, UB will join Dick Stockton out in Salt Lake City for Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinal series. Utah hoping to eliminate San Antonio tomorrow night.
I like what Blaylock just did. They ran a lot of baseline screens, and they caught the Orlando defenders all turning their heads. As soon as he saw it, right to the basket.
Big free throw miss in a close game. 86-81. Magic by 5. 7:12 remaining. Orlando hoping to eliminate Atlanta and move on. The pesky Atlanta Hawks. Shaw, pull-up jumper, down. Maybe they were thinking about wrist surgery after the season. The way he shot it in this series, maybe it healed.
Yeah, he's playing well. Good timeout right now by Lenny Wilkins.
Magic by 7. Pointed out earlier, if the Hawks had played this whole game like they played the final 2 minutes of each quarter, they might be in the lead right now instead of down by 7. Here's what's happened to this ball game. Following a subpar performance in game number 4, Shaquille said, I'm going to come in dunking the ball. His first 2 possessions, 2 dunks. Orlando led after 1 by 2 points. Second quarter, Christian Leitner, 7 points. And Orlando led by 5 at the half. The Hawks kept hanging in. Then, just at the end of 3, Mookie Blaylock with a 45-footer. Hawks were down by 4, trailing now by 7 with 6:51 to go. Blaylock. That's a 3.
That was a tough angle. Now, I know he makes that shot. He makes it during the season.
6.5 to go. Brian Shaw running things at the point. They have Hardaway down in the right corner.
See, they feel they can turn the corner and open that shot up right there.
Well, you have not only Hardaway, but Anderson posted outside the three-point arc, and Orlando, after having their lead cut to 2, has opened it back up to double digits.
If you're not going to trap or you're not going to force the dribbler out high on a screen and roll, they'll turn the corner, get in the paint, and hit that open three.
You see this, Orlando all over Mookie Blaylock. The ball out of bounds off Orlando with 5 on the shot clock. Augman back in the game. Elo will sit down.
Well, you're going to see, now just watch as they come over the screen and roll and get in the paint. It breaks the defense down. Why? Because Leitner is too far back. That opens up the three-point shooters on the other side.
Blaylock forcing threes. He missed everything with that one. Hawks down by 10. Now tough defensive assignment for Mookie. Kicked out. Brian Shaw. All the way easily to the hoop. Orlando now starting to show confidence with 5:37 to go before they would move on to play Chicago in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, they're doing a good job keeping their dribble, Bob, meaning Orlando. And it's breaking the Hawks down, and then they're taking them strong to the rim.
Blaylock and Smith looking tired. They've both played 38-plus minutes in this ball game tonight. Second foul on Penny Hardaway with 5:17 remaining.
Now, in the last 3 minutes, Orlando definitely has tightened their defense. And Atlanta, all of a sudden, they are not getting clean looks at the basket. Plus, they are trapping everything on the wings.
Blaylock missing the free throws here. Again, no excuse, but they do look tired and are playing tired. When you see the lift gone from the jump shots and the missed free throws, that's sometimes an indication of that. The Hawks guards who carry this team in terms of their effectiveness in winning games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Missed them both. Orlando by 12. The crowd sensing the kill in Orlando.
Ever since they've gone to the small lineup with Anderson at small forward in place of Scott, you know, they're quicker now and they're better off the dribble. And this is what has broken the Atlanta defense down.
4 to shoot. Hardaway. Pull-up jumper. Tough shot. Rebound. Horace Grant.
Yeah,
Horace has had a subpar game compared to, say, Game 4 where he had 29 and 20 tonight, but that was a big rebound. And Grant Long, given his due, has played very well for Atlanta. Anderson. Shaquille runs down the rebound and saves it. New 24. The Hawks appearing to have run out of gas after a valiant effort. 4 on 2.
Kicked wide. Bad pass. If he would have made a decent pass, Blaylock would have had an open 3.
Posting up Grant Long. Augman's going to take it down into the middle and get the 2. 10-point Orlando lead. 4 minutes remaining.
Plenty of time. Major thing, Atlanta must hold Orlando to 1 shot and then get out in the open floor. Back screen for Hardaway to go down inside. He cleared out, pick and roll.
5 to shoot. Brian Shaw's going to end up with the ball in his hands. 3, 2, out of bounds with 2 seconds for Orlando to shoot.
2 seconds to shoot.
Now you cannot let your man catch a lob going to the front of the rim. 20-second timeout.
20-second timeout, Magic.
Brian Hill. Magic with 60 wins. They've only had 1 loss in the playoffs, and that was on Monday night to Atlanta. And when they play at home, this is a wholly different team. Just look at the playoff numbers for Orlando.
Well, you can see the points. They're a +9 at home, and then the points allowed, you know, a -7 at home. The scoring margin, 18, is just monumental when you think about that a second. Good field goal percentage versus the road, and then the three-point shooter better in your own gym. But the thing what I liked here this evening is that, Cahill getting primetime television again.
3:40 remaining. Magic by 10.
That was a very nice piece that they did on the Hill family the other evening.
2 seconds on the shot clock for Orlando. Inside to Hardaway. Just barely
Come on, kick out. Kick out now.
Boy, Smith and Mookie Blaylock have been smothered.
Well,
somebody else is going to have to step up.
Nick Anderson is all over.
Blaylock to the hoop. Shaquille got a piece of it. Leitner then got the loose ball, and he's fouled.
Good play by Christian coming in from the blind side to get that rebound. Big thing now is to get a good score. Now you'll see Shaq come into your picture right here. He gets a piece of it, and here comes Christian to the front of the rim. Anytime your man leaves you to go for the shot block, get to the front of the rim.
Nick Anderson with a personal, his second. Hawks have missed 4 free throws here in the last 3 minutes in a close ball game.
The Hawks have had so many solid opportunities in this game. It isn't like you're saying, well, Orlando's defense was so great, they didn't give us chances. They've had chances.
Atlanta missed their last 5 free throws. They trail by 10, 3:06 to go. Hawks are kind of the little engine that could on Monday night against this team, but they're the little engine of running out of gas here tonight. Shaquille missing it, battling for his own rebound, keeping it alive for Dennis Scott.
That's smart. Back it out, run some time.
10-point lead, 2:42 to go. Hardaway. Murder!
Isn't it nice when you're running the clock, you just throw the ball to the big fella, everyone runs and double teams, and then he passes it out because he's not going to force anything.
Shaw and Anderson have done a tremendous job defending the perimeter in this last 5 minutes. Ogman gets the lay-in. Hawks still down by 10 with 2 minutes to go. Make it 11, 2:02 to go.
Right now, Atlanta has 2 fulls and a 20. Orlando has 4 full timeouts.
Shaquille O'Neal pounding his way inside, called for traveling.
Yeah, either that or an offensive foul, because Shaq definitely got back into the chest of Christian Leitner.
Shaquille O'Neal with 27 points tonight, none in the 4th quarter. Orlando led at 82-80 with 9 minutes to go, then went on a 14-5 run, and now have this lead. Here's the reset. Orlando only 2 full timeouts left because they had a leftover going inside 2 minutes, so they went from 4 to 2. But that's the story. 2-2, 120 for the Atlanta Hawks, and the Hawks do have a foul to give. And the 3-point situation for Steve Smith, who had 7 in game number 4, has been unable to hit 1 here tonight.
It's difficult for the Hawks to beat a high-octane offensive team on the road if Steve Smith is not getting it done for them.
Nick Anderson has done a tremendous defensive job tonight. Now Brian Shaw defending Steve Smith.
I'll tell you, Brian Shaw just did the Texas two-step, hugging Steve Smith from the top of the circle down into the post, mugged him, and there was still no call.
Steve Smith has been pounded this whole ball game. Of course, he's used to that. He gets the #1 defensive assignment. He's the man who scored 35 on Monday night. Minute and a half to go.
There you go.
Steve Smith gets his first triple of the night, and it's there we see an 8-point Orlando lead. It's still not over, folks.
You cannot get sloppy here right now because they're so quick. And there it is.
And that's sloppy.
There it is.
Hawks have it 3, 4 on 2. Steve Smith wants the 3. Didn't get it. If that goes down, this crowd. But if a frog had wings, then he could fly. 96-88. Orlando under a minute. They're going to move on to face Chicago in the Eastern Conference Finals. It's the game everybody's been waiting for. But the Hawks wanted to throw a wrench in the brain. I'm going to call them diehard. They went down 0-3, won Monday in Atlanta, and had their chances here tonight. But the Orlando Magic are going to eliminate Atlanta 4 games to 1. The crowd on their feet. Let's just watch them. Somehow it's appropriate. Look at this crowd. Bring on Chicago is the chant here in Orlando. The Hawks know it's over. Hugs around, clock ticking down. Atlanta battled them, but just didn't have the horsepower. Orlando has only lost 1 game in the playoffs, moving into the conference finals. Brian Hill's wife, Kay, cheering on the coaching staff and the players. O'Neal had 27 points and 15 rebounds tonight, rebounding from his subpar performance on Monday night against the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. And Orlando goes into the conference finals for the 2nd year in a row. Shaquille said before this ball game, I've never had 2 bad games in a row. And that statement holds true once again.
Concerned about your health. How did you feel the other night, and were you concerned?
My heart was just beating kind of funny, and I didn't know what it was. And, the only thing I could think about was falling out. So I wasn't into the game. But I went to the doctor, and he told me it's only stress. So I'm going to just, continue to play hard and just take it easy. There's nothing wrong.
If you've got stress, I'm real scared for the rest of us.
Yeah, I know, huh?
All right, let's talk about the Atlanta team. A great effort by these guys over the 4 games.
I mean, they came out the last 2 games and they played loose. The other day they won. Tonight they still played loose. We didn't play real well, but we won the game. And now we can move on.
How about the Bulls now? We can now talk about the Bulls, right? Tell me about the Bulls. Are you guys ready to get at them?
Of course, they're a great team, and we're just going to go in there and just play hard.
All right, thanks so much, Shaq. Take care of yourself. Bob, Hubie.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin Kiley. Penny Hardaway tonight, 24 points and 11 rebounds. He sold 4 boxes of popcorns and washed some windows, too, the way he played tonight. We'll be back with him in a moment.